Today I'm doing a deck tech for a blue-black inspired vehicles deck for Modern. This is inspired by a mono-black vehicles deck that was posted on MTG Goldfish as a budget deck. That deck featured the Smuggler's Copter along with Ethersphere Harvester, highlighting the power of vehicles in Modern. Smuggler's Copter is still extremely affordable in paper and online, and the Ethersphere Harvester is actually more expensive online right now than it is on paper. It's pretty manageable on paper. I think you can get them for $2 or $3, but online it has gone up in price. One of the things that they had done with that deck was utilized cards like Painseer for the inspired ability, because you're going to be tapping and untapping your creatures to crew vehicles, and it ends up being a mechanic that has some very powerful cards based on it, but it never saw a whole lot of play because you've got to basically charge in with your creature to be untapping them. But this gives us another mode for untapping when you're up against creatures that you might not do quite as well against. So what I've done here is I've added blue for a couple of really cool cards. This one is Disciple of Deceit. This is one that you probably forgot all about. It says, whenever Disciple of Deceit becomes untapped, you may discard an on-land card. And if you do, search your library for a card with the same converted mana cost as that card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. That gives you a ton of options, especially if you want to tinker with the sideboard. And you can start trading out whichever cards you've got for the cards that you want. And you can do some pretty powerful things with that. Additionally, this utilizes the other inspired card that's black and blue called Siren of the Silent Song. This one costs 3. It's a 2/1 flyer. It says whenever Siren of the Silent Song becomes untapped, each opponent discards a card. Then puts the top card of his or her library into his or her graveyard. So this is going to presumably keep our opponent's hand all but empty. And should pair very nicely with the raw power of Wrench Mind in the sideboard for stripping cards out of our opponent's hand. We've also got Blackmail. These are both a whole lot less expensive than the more commonly used Inquisition of Kozilek and Thoughtseize. Blackmail and Wrench Mind have the advantages. So the disadvantage is a little bit less card selection in terms of picking the card that you might most want to dump from their hand. But these both bring the raw power of absolute discard in terms of, I don't know how many times I've had an opponent that tries to Inquisition or Thoughtseize me and finds a fistful of lands. And if you're using these cards, they're discarding lands, and that becomes very powerful against something like Tron, where you want to really empty out those lands and prevent them from getting any of their good stuff out. The other thing that I've done here, this is absolutely a crappier, budgetier option than an Ethersphere Harvester, but the mobile garrison, whenever it attacks, you're able to untap another target artifact or creature that you control. And so we can actually use this with something like the Siren of the Silent Song to crew the garrison, swing, that untaps the Siren or whatever else you've crewed it with, and then you're able to tap those things to crew a vehicle again during your opponent's turn, or whenever, or keep it back as a blocker. Presumably, if they're not attacking you, you can still crew during your opponent's turn, and untap during your untap step, and then you get 2 activations out of it. So that was the thinking behind adding Mobile Garrison. And then this also works with some of the other cards that were highlighted in that mono black build that they did on MTG Goldfish, the Blood-Soaked Champion with its raid ability, along with the Night Market Lookout, which works very well in combination with the vehicles, and the Hex Parasite, where you're able to remove counters from permanents, and you can wipe out some creatures with that card. So very cool card. I haven't tried the deck yet, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun to play. Definitely, there's plenty of room to work on the sideboard. The other sideboard card I wanted to highlight here was King Maekar. Again, another inspired card that you probably forgot all about from the Theros block. It says whenever King Maekar becomes untapped, you may exile target. It's not even just kill. You're exiling a creature, and you're getting gold for yourself, which is it's like the treasure or Ethereum cells that are in the current standard format. So hope you like the deck. Hoping to get some games up before too long, and we'll catch you later.